Welcome to my video on fully defining your sketches. I will go through the modeling process of doing the part from exercise 2.1, the metal grate. This will show you several things for defining your sketches, especially when it comes to patterns and such. Um, so I yeah I design, or I'd model a little bit differently than the textbook. So you probably won't be able to follow along in the textbook as I do this, but it should be somewhat close to it. So we're going to begin. We'll open up a new part in SolidWorks, and first thing we want to do is come down here and change from inches to millimeters, because everything in the book is given in millimeters. So I'm going to begin my sketch on the front plane, and I'm going to do a boss extrude, and you'll notice it automatically brought the plane that we're sketching on so that it is parallel to the screen. Okay, a couple of ways you can do this, and I'll do it the way the book says first. It has you just drawing a rectangle in here and then giving all the dimensions to it. So this would be 280. This here would be 195. And I'm going to, well, let's go ahead and do the little square here inside also. And it is 30 millimeters from this edge and 30 millimeters down and 20 millimeters wide and 35 millimeters tall. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got dimensions to all the things. Okay, if I move this here, the whole thing moves with it, but it's still not fully defined because all of our lines are blue. In order to be fully defined, they need to be black. So the book would have you go and put a dimension from this edge to the origin of 140 millimeters, and from that edge to the origin of 97.5 millimeters, which is fine and dandy. You'll notice now that all of the lines have turned black. That means they're fully defined. You grab any one of these points and it's not going to move. Okay. However, if your intent was to have the origin of this in the middle of this part, if for some reason you decided in your design phase that this needed to be 310 instead, well, you're no longer in the center. So the way I like to do this, and again, this is just gospel according to art, if I was to use this sketching mode, I would bring down a center line and run it from that origin and let it snap to the midpoint, and then do the same thing to the side, let it snap to the midpoint, and then grab that line and tell it to be vertical, and you'll notice the sides turned black. And if we grab this line and tell that to be horizontal, now all of our lines are black. Everything is fully defined, and if we come in here and decide that this needs to be 310, you'll notice that it moved symmetric about the origin. And that, I think, is one major benefit to defining to the center of your origin via dimensions. So we'll go back to where we're supposed to be. Okay, we left off some radiuses in the corner. Those are going to be little 3 millimeter radiuses, so we'll pull up the radius tile here and click on those 4 and hit OK. And now we have our plate. Okay, but we need to have a whole bunch of more windows in there. So we'll exit out of the radiusing. So now we want to pattern those lines right there. So I came outside the part here, drew a box across all the lines, and it grabbed all those points for me. It even grabbed a dimension, but it's not going to be a problem. Once we've got all those lines selected, or you can select them afterwards, I just find it easier to do beforehand. We'll come and pick the pattern, and we are patterned over, what's our spacing here? Vertical spacing 50, horizontal spacing 40. So we'll go 40, and we're going to have 6 of them. And the Y, we're going to have 3, so we need to change that from 1 so that it opens up this dialog box, and we're going to go 50. They're going the wrong way, so we'll change directions and then say, oh, one thing I also like to do is add dimensions in here. That it helps in fully defining your sketch. So see, you have now not an optimal position, but it does specify that the spacing is 40 millimeters that way, and this one is 50 that way. Now you'll notice all the top ones are black, but the bottom ones aren't. Easy way to find out why you're having issues with fully defining is grab a feature that's blue and pull on it and see, and that'll show you where you're lacking in your definition. Okay, so obviously, if we take the issue is this is not collinear with that, or yeah, collinear would be the perfect term for it. So we'll come and make those collinear, and boom, they're all black. And if you don't like where this dimension's at, which I don't, you can just select it, delete it, and add the dimension where you like it. I actually like them coming off my edges, not off of imaginary points. So that's fully defined that sketch. Everything in there is black. There's no red marks down here saying things are over defined. And now when we hit this button here, it'll ask us how thick we want our part. We want it to be 5 millimeters, and we now have the base of our grate is 5 millimeters thick. All the windows are in, equally spaced. And now if by some reason we wanted to change this, we decide later on that we wanted that actually 350, we'll come and yeah, okay, it's centered about the origin, but see, we didn't center our parts about our holes about the origin. If we wanted to center them about the origin, we would come in here and remove this, no, not that dimension. We would remove this locating dimension here and this locating dimension here, and then if we make this, and make them symmetric, you'll notice all the edges are now black, and this, and this symmetric. Now everything's all black. And if we have to make a change now, we'll see that our holes are still in the center of our plate. And to me, that's it makes your design a lot easier to manipulate if things have to be changed after your original modeling. Okay, so let's go back to our 280 millimeters. Okay, we need to extrude the lip around the edge. So we'll collect this surface, we're going to extrude, and we want these edges here, so we're going to just convert the entities so that we get all the lines that are on that edge, and then we'll select one of those lines and tell it to, and tell it to offset, and we want it to offset 15 millimeters but it's going the wrong way. Now you can either come over here and click the reverse button and it'll reverse it, or you can just click on the other side of the line and it'll automatically reverse it. Close the sketch, tell it we want that also to be 5 millimeters, hit OK, and there we have, oh, I guess we were supposed to put radiuses in the corner. Okay, well, we can do that very easily. We'll come over here, expose the sketch, right mouse click, go edit sketch. This button here I like. I don't think you guys have that available. I can show you how to get that if you'd like. This brings it plainer to your screen so that it's really easy to see. Okay, we'll pull up the radius tool, and that's a 5 millimeter radius, and it's going to go in this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner, and we'll say OK and close that sketch, and now it's been updated with the radiuses in the corners. Okay, so the only thing left we have to do is put the holes through it. So we'll select this surface here, bring it parallel, tell it we want to do an extruded cut. And again, I will demonstrate this the way the book has it, and then I will finish by showing you how I would do it. Okay, it has 4 holes in the corners. You can make these all equal, and if we grab that one and make them horizontal, that one and make it vertical, this one and make it horizontal, and this one and make it vertical, and then add the dimensions from the book. We first have from the edge to the center line is 9 millimeters. From center to center is 262. And from edge to center is 9 millimeters. Okay, and then from there to the center of that one is 177 millimeters. And the circle is 8. Okay, and we notice that all 4 circles are black. That means it is totally, fully defined. And then we'll close the sketch. That brings up the dialog box for the cut extrude. And we just want to go through all and OK. And there we have a finished grate. And we'll call this the metal grate. Great gums of, yeah. Okay, so now for the holes and see again, if in your design phase you decide that you wanted this at 350, not point, that's going to cause all kinds of problems, 350 millimeters, everything's centered here except your holes because they were defined. And and I realize that this is a simple part to teach you how to do this, but I just want to go one step beyond the book. So the way I would have done this, what was that, 280? Yeah, it looks right. I would have come in here. There's 2 ways that I would do this, and I'll show you both. We're going to do a cut extrude. The simplest way is to draw one circle here and then hit the S bar or S key, and it'll pull up this little dialog box and do a center line and do a center line vertical off of the origin and one horizontal, and then just left mouse and collect those and do a mirror, and then oops, you don't want to grab both lines, grab both those and do another mirror, and then you've only got to do if you can either do center to center dimensions, which probably not all that great because um, um, that ended up being a diameter because I missed the other hole. Um, no, grab both of those, that one and that one. There you go. 262. Okay, and then if we go through all, okay, now if we change the size of our plate, the holes are still symmetric, but they're not out on the edge where you would want them. So if we go back to 280, and we'll come in and edit this sketch, and rather than doing center to center, we'll do an S, bring up thread, and do edge to edge, and close that. And now if we change, if we change this, the holes will still say the same spot with respect to the edge of your grate, which to me makes more sense. That's how I would want it to react if I was designing this. I don't want to have to go back in and change my sketch and calculate out what the dimensions should be. Again, if you did it the way it's in the book, that's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just say that my method is, for me, a better way to go. So, I hope I covered. Okay, I'm going to go one more and do the torque sensor also, because that also has a pattern that is circular, and we can also fully define that. And I noticed in the homework in grading that a lot of students struggled with that. So we will begin by starting a new part, and we again come down, change it to millimeters. We're going to grab the front plane. How did they have you do this? Did they have you rotate about? Okay, I think they did. Well, I'm gonna rotate it about the axis. So we're gonna do a revolve here, and the first thing we want to do is come in and sketch our center line. And I'm gonna sketch another line here because I'm gonna make mine symmetric about that axis. So we'll come grab this guy here. Okay, we got a hole going through the middle of it. So we're gonna put our little step, 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 and I'm going to exaggerate a few things here. Okay, so there's our, and oh, they didn't give you dimensions on that, they just squares, huh? Is this in inches? Isometric, oh, it is in inches. Okay, so we're going to switch this back to inches. We haven't made any dimensions. We'll come back in and edit our. So each line is a quarter, so there's half, 1 1 1/4, so that'd be 2.5 inches tall. So from there to there is 2.5 inches. Okay, so this and this should be collinear. And we can either do this and make those equal, or we could have grabbed that line and made them collinear too. Either way gets you to the same spot. Okay, we're gonna grab this, not that, this, and this, and make those symmetric. Okay, and we want this and this to also be equal. And we want that and that to be equal. Okay, now we can throw in some more dimensions, so we'll pull up our dimensioning tool, and this here is supposed to be a half, and that sticks out 2 inches. Okay, that, oh no, not 2 inches, that's one, that's 4/4 is one. Ha, I only learned how to count yesterday, sorry. um, okay, and then bring up our dimensioning tool again, and this here is supposed to be 1/4 of an inch. And then what's really nice about SolidWorks is once we grab this guy here, we can come in and dimension this diameter, which is going to be a 1/2 inch. And then this diameter, and see, we only had to pick the line and not the axes again. So this is going to be a 1.5 inch diameter, and then if we come to the outside, that's going to be 2 inches. That can't be right. 2, 1. Oh, it's 4 inches. Ah, it's 2 per side. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. There we go. Okay, so there's our shape. And then if we close, because I changed the units in between, it kicked me out of the. So we'll close that sketch, pick on the revolve. We want to go 360 degrees about this line here and call it good. And so there's our spindle. Okay, and again, you look at this sketch and bring it here, everything is black, everything is fully defined because we came off of the center line with our axes and made everything symmetric about those and dimensioned to that. So that's all fully defined. Okay, nextly we need to put a pattern of holes. So we'll close that up, we'll select this surface, bring it perpendicular, and we will do a cut extrude, and we want a hole that's going to be right here, and from there to this there, we're going to make that vertical. Now I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to bring in another circle, go from there to there, but this one I'm going to make it a construction line. Not sure if that's the way the book told you to do it, but yeah, it looks like maybe they did. And we're going to give that the dimension of 3¼ inches. And you notice the circle turned black, and this one's still blue because it doesn't have a defined diameter. And that's supposed to be 1/4 inch. Okay, so I noticed in the book that it says that our first circle is supposed to be over here and not up here. So I'm going to grab this guy here, pick that relation tile right there that's vertical, and hit the delete key, and it's deleted. And then I'll bring it over here and select those two and make them horizontal, and it turned it black again. So we're going to grab that circle, we're going to come up here and do a circle sketch, and we have 8 of them. Okay, and you can pick dimension and dimension if you like. Okay, but you still see they're blue, they're not black, and that's where a lot of the students left it as but see, if you grab that, it's not fully defined. It can move wherever it wants to. So to fully define it, I generally like using the second hole. That way if you make a change in the number of holes, that hole's still there. So select the center point of the second hole and our line here and make those two coincident, and boom, they're all black. And then we'll do that, and we'll say through all, and there we have our spindle with some mounting holes in it. Okay, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.